Hello, welcome back to Everybody Loves Raymond. I'm speaking in sotto voce, because it means my soft voice or low voice. It's a stage term for when you're talking somewhat quietly.
Why don't you just say whispering? This is why I'm whispering.
Sotto voce.
Oh my god.
It's Everybody Loves Raymond. It's Italian, and also, this is kind of like an Italian. So, I'm Adam Rudy. I'm joined by Mike Dormer.
Yep.
And Alex Shear.
Sotto voce.
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 And
Sotto voce.
we are, of course, the only best and sexiest Everybody Loves Raymond podcast on the market, and we are here today to talk about Season 1, Episode 9, Win, Lose, or Draw, but we have to address something first. So, the Barone Zone. As you can tell from the noise behind us, and of course our speaking in sotto voce, we are not there. We are not in our usual recording environment.
Unfortunately, it's rather inoperable at the moment.
Let's just say a certain piano man drove his car through it. As you know, we're on Long Island, and that tends to happen. He tends to do that. Let's just say
There's insurance for it,
really,
actually.
He's just really, really interested with recreating the ending of Moving Out when you hear the car go vroom vroom, and he's so excited about that part that he stopped paying attention to where he's going.
And it's interesting because, now he can't drive. Broke his back.
No, not anymore.
Still,
Actually,
he can polish the fender.
yeah.
At least. But let's just say that not Captain Jack, but the ER nurse will get him high tonight because of he's going to be on pain medication for a while.
He actually went so fast once that when he hit a bump, he flew into the air and went right over a young woman. So people around her was saying, "Look up, town girl," all over, and it didn't work out.
Town girl.
Up.
Oh yeah, that's the town girl.
Up the town.
Lynbrook's town girl.
The town girl to look up.
Yeah.
Uptown girl, and it just it didn't go well. She didn't.
No.
She didn't make it out of that.
No.
But yeah. But the last time, the really, really tough part is that after he crashes into your house, he legally lives there. That's how he got residency at MSG. He broke right into it, and then he just stood there.
But I mean, it's not that big of a deal because I don't know about you guys, but I feel like we're all in the mood for a melody.
I was at the time, but now it's
He's got us feeling all right.
No,
No, I'm not gonna say that.
Is it just me?
No, it's time for him to be moving out.
Guys,
you're going back to that.
The seventh.
I'm going back to that because I couldn't think of another one.
As a Long Island native, this is the 7th time I've met this man, and I am excited.
Hold on. Billy Joel songs.
Listen, yeah.
Okay, but anyway. Yeah, so we can't record in the Barone Zone right now. It's being refurbished, or I guess rebuilt. So what we did was we picked up our recording equipment and we took it here to the, it's Lynbrook's sort of, tough guy bar. It's where all the big boys go. We're in the Stallone Zone. They, it's a Sylvester Stallone's themed bar and grill, and let's just say they don't take too kindly to,
Podcasters,
other famous Italian Americans being sort of celebrated, and
they're okay with podcasting, but it has to be specifically one of the Rocky movies.
Yeah.
Based, and that's not something
It has to be a Rocky rewatch. Rewatchy.
Do you think we could swing it if we did a debate on who would win in a fight, Robert or Rocky? Like, do you think that could make it happen? I think Robert's got the. I actually think Robert's got it. If I'm being real with you, I think he's got the technique.
Okay, I think what would happen would be that Robert would lose the first time, but then in the second one he would win and gain the respect of Rocky. And then they're best friends.
Exactly.
Then they're best friends. And then Mr. T comes along.
And then their kids will fight, and one of them is gonna get knocked out, get killed in the ring. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, and then Robert's gonna get snubbed for the Oscar.
Guys, they have bottomless breadsticks.
They have bottomless breadsticks.
That's a lot of carbs.
Oh, wow.
That's surprising. So yeah, let's talk about.
Well, you need them when you're getting ready to box.
That's what they say.
That's what they say. Load up on carbs. Right before
a big boxing match.
Yeah.
That's
obviously. The menu is themed at the Stallone Zone. It's
Balboa breadsticks.
Balboa breadsticks, sure.
Yeah. Like Rocky Balboa, his breadsticks.
Yep. Mike, your jokes are great. You just gotta stop explaining.
I'm crushing it tonight. I don't know what's wrong with you guys.
I thought the fact that they had, I don't think they should have gone back to the Balboa well, because after the Balboa-naise, Spaghetti Balboa.
Spaghetti Balboa.
I forgot about that A. That's why that didn't work. The Spaghetti
Balboa-naise.
Boba-naise. After that, I didn't think they should go back to that. But, obviously the big ticket item is the cut of meat, the big meat that hangs. It's all meat hanging through here. And so it's sort of like, maybe it's because they want it to look more crowded than it is. But it's like butchered cows, like, hanging from the ceiling. They've got, I think it's interesting that a lot of this place is themed after not Rocky or like Rambo or anything, but it's Oscar. Oscar, the movie.
The Grouch?
No, the 1990, I want to say 2 movie.
I think
Oscar.
I'm confident in saying
1991.
that you were the only fucking person
you don't know the
who's
movie?
ever seen the movie Oscar.
It's sort of like a farcical, like light sex comedy about a gangster who promises his dad that he's going to turn straight. His name is, so Sylvester Stallone plays Snaps Provolone, and that features heavily in this menu, obviously.
It's a great name.
It's
a great name.
It's a lot of, it's like, Balboa-naise with Snaps Provolone, Balboa breadsticks with Snaps Provolone, meat, big meat with Snaps Provolone. But anyway.
That's all. Yeah.
We're sitting here at one of the expendables in the Stallone Zone. And we've got our recording equipment, and we're just going to try to quietly, not draw too much attention to ourselves.
We're just going to have to fight Rocky Balboa himself.
We may have to fight our way out of the Stallone Zone.
I'll do it. I'll fucking punch him.
All right. You say that now.
Yeah.
You took a big swing at one of the hanging meats, and it knocked you cold for like an hour and a half.
Listen, I didn't know the meat was going to be that big, okay?
Mike, you realize you just said on the internet that you would fight Sylvester Stallone and he knows where you are. We're in the Stallone Zone in Lynbrook.
We have given a GPS location of where we are.
Yes,
and
he will show up.
I'll fight him.
Beat your ass.
I'll fight him.
And it's going to be awesome.
I'll do it as a promo for the pod, okay? I'll do it.
I don't know if you're going to you're not going to be able to get the name of this podcast out before he ends your life.
I can try my best, okay?
You may get the first syllable.
Yeah. Okay. But anyway, so because of all of these extenuating circumstances, we had a guest this week. I had to go off site to interview him in a completely different zone altogether. Our guest is Keith Buxton. He is a friend of ours. He is an actor and a musician and just an all-around great guy. So I brought the cassette with me. We're just going to pop it in, listen to it, and then when we come back from that, after that, we're going to break down Season 1, Episode 9, Win, Lose, or Draw, and, try to get out of here without getting first blood drawn from us.
Cool, and while that's playing, let's look at the menu.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay,
Yeah,
you
what
got
you guys
more
want?
menu items?
Hey, we got some.
You got some menu items that you thought of?
Hold on. Let me casually.
What do you mean
look
thought
up,
of?
I mean that you
Sylvester
read?
Stallone's IMDb page real quick. Actually, yeah, I would take the Lambo
Lambo.
Lambo Primavera. Yeah, that
Okay,
sounds,
that's good.
That sounds pretty
That's
good
good.
to me. That sounds pretty good.
The Barney Rossburger looks pretty good.
Yeah, actually, that does actually look pretty good. You know what the buffalo chicken wings with the Raymond Tango sauce that sounds pretty nice.
I think I'm gonna get the Demolicious Man and the Stopper My Mom Will bamboo shoots.
Guys, Adam, that's like 7,000 calories. Are you sure?
I gotta bulk up. Apparently we're going to war, so one of us has to. You know what I'd like it to be is like, you know how we close our classic sign off for the podcast. I'd like it to
What's
be
it?
each of us gets one word out and then gets knocked out, and then in turn. So you would say everybody clocked loves dead Raymond. Although actually,
And
we
then
need
Sylvester
2 more
Stallone says, "And we love you."
people. Yeah.
I was gonna.
Oh, we
and we
love
need
you.
someone to do a
we love
spot
you.
on. Sylvester Stallone.
Okay, so we're gonna listen to that tape right
Yeah.
now, and try to make our way through some of these snaps provolones.
I can't believe he just said that. Oh snap! There you go.
That's good. Now that's good. So Keith, thank you for joining me here today. And
Thank you for having me.
we call this the Barone Zone.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you share this episode anywhere, #Barone Zone, if you wouldn't mind. And then,
For sure.
we will send you the t-shirt. It is to say it's a crop top is an understatement. It's almost just like a sweatband that you put around your, nipples, for lack of a better word.
That'd be great. That'd be great for when I'm playing basketball.
Yeah. I mean, it's called viral marketing. And believe me, it does get viral if you don't take it off after like 15, 20 minutes.
Oh, all right. Oh, I'm excited.
So welcome to the Barone Zone.
Ooh.
You are my dear friend. You are a musician. You are a comedian, an actor, and an all-around great guy. But I don't really care about that today.
Okay. Yeah,
What I care
Yeah. Yeah.
What I care about is the one question that we ask all of our guests. And this may lead to unscheduled follow-up questions, but there is one question that I need to ask you, which is, how'd you meet Ray?
Wow. Me and Ray go way back. Back in the day when no, this is the first time I've actually sat down and watched an episode of or seen our dear friend Raymond.
Mm-hmm. Okay, believe it or not, we are 1 for 4 on guests having ever seen this show before. So I don't know I don't know why the 3 of us who host this podcast, why it caught us, and was a formative part of our childhoods, and then everyone we know could not have given it less of a shit.
Well, you see, you had Everybody Loves Raymond. I had Everybody Hates Chris.
They were
I had
after each other.
Well, I'll say this as a segue. I had UPN,
Yeah.
the Parkers,
The
and
Parkers.
Jamie Foxx show, and
I watched these too. I watched the
Yeah?
Parkers. I watched Moesha, Living Single. Like, I think, this is something that I have noticed before, that like there are like 2 tracks of cable syndication. There's Everybody Loves Raymond and Friends and Seinfeld, and then you've got your, Living Single, Jamie Foxx.
until they killed it.
Yeah.
Until they said, "Oh, we don't need you anymore."
Yeah. We're consolidating. We'll move that to Paramount Plus or some shit. Speaking of, did you enjoy having to log into Peacock?
Oh wow, Peacock was such a great one. Once I found the right Peacock website, the first one we're not gonna talk about, but got in there, got to watching, and first I watched episode 8, the first couple minutes, and I was like, wow, this is gonna be a long episode. I was like, wow, this is gonna be rough. And then stopped watching it. Watched episode 9, and then I saw the intro again. I was like, you know what? These intros, I don't know, something about them. I just hate them.
I also, well, there's one thing you have to know about Everybody Loves Raymond is as many seasons as there are of this show, there are as many different title sequences. For whatever reason, they just couldn't land on one. And what's been weird is in this first season, they've been going back and forth between the one you saw in episode 8 and the one you saw in episode 9, which, you know, maybe it's like a commentary about expectations, you know, that the audience might have, preconceived notions.
I will say, like, now I give shows a good, I don't know, maybe a season or two before I'm like, oh, they found their footing. So I mean, I get it, you know, especially back in those times, I guess they had a lot more time to like really figure it out. But what I meant to say was not the intro, the opening.
Oh,
scene.
The cold open.
Hated those. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I was like, oh, there's no way this is gonna fly today.
Yeah, and in recent episodes, they've been lifted from Ray Romano's stand-up and adapted to the family context. And Ray Romano's stand-up is not good, but so not having watched Everybody Loves Raymond ever before, did you have any awareness of Ray Romano, the man, the myth, the legend?
Yeah, I mean, I knew the show existed, but I like actively avoided it my entire adolescence. And then I think recently he's been like on the more drama side. I remember him in a beard. He had a beard on something.
That's a good code of like, oh, it's going to be dramatic Ray if the beard comes out. Because he was in The Irishman. He was in that movie The Big Sick, where he's like doing dramatic stuff. Beard.
Yeah, it was probably The Big Sick. Probably was that one.
That was a good movie.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that I was very much concerned after watching the opening scenes. I was like, oh, this is gonna be mid, very mid. But as the show went on, you know, after the opening scene, you know, get into it, the plot A, plot B, the whole come around, and then I was like, wow, this is, you know, it's pretty decent. He has some funny one-liners. His bread and butter is definitely, you know, his comebacks, his, you know, responses, sometimes to catch you off guard. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, the writing is pretty good for the most part. There's something that's like, if not out loud chuckle, it's definitely the forceful exhale, you know, when something's like kind of funny. Ray being a sort of minor presence in your life, we always like to follow up this question, as we've had to with all of our guests who never watched this show. What did we touched on a little bit, but like generally, what were you watching growing up in like the age range when you probably would have been watching this, you know, like early teens or maybe even a little younger? What was your bread and butter?
My bread and butter. Where do I start? So definitely UPN. So like all the black shows.
Yeah.
If to just to, you know, Wayne's Brothers, you name it. A little bit of In Living Color.
Steve Harvey Show.
Yeah. The thing is, for most of my adolescence, I had no control over the remote. So was ever my pops or my mom was playing, that's what I was listening to. I mean, watching. So all those shows, a lot of TV Land stuff. So you know, Flip Wilson show and Good Times, The Jeffersons.
Yep. Temporary Layoffs.
Yeah. Good time. Yeah. But
love that theme song. That is probably the best theme song of all time. Do you think, or it's up there?
It's definitely up there. It's top 5, undoubtedly.
Once it gets to that last, like, quatrain of, you know, temporary layoffs. Yeah, and then the big finish. Good times.
Okay, runs. Yeah, we're gonna take you on the road. But my bad. Answer your question fully. So when I didn't have the remote, right, I was watching those shows. Watching a lot of Eddie Murphy movies. like all the 90s and 80s ones.
Bowfinger.
Many times. Oh, no Bowfinger.
Bowfinger again, and then Bowfinger usually one more time before bed.
Right. No, Beverly Hills Cop 3.
Yeah.
And The Golden Child.
Ah.
Yeah. On repeat.
What did you think of Coming to America?
We do not acknowledge that. Coming to America is one of the greatest movies of all time. The other one, I don't know what that is.
Let's run them down. What did you think of 1,000 Words?
1,000 Words, I've seen it maybe too many times.
1,000?
And that was one time. I seen him.
Mr. Church?
Get Your Money.
Were you coming on Mr. Church?
I meant to watch that one, and I just never did.
I watched the first 3 minutes of it, and I was like, this is not what I want. Tower Heist. Were you coming on Tower Heist?
Nope.
No. I like Tower Heist. All right. Well,
is that one? Oh, that's the one with what's her name?
Ben Stiller.
Gabby Sadobi, and he's like, yeah, when he was like attracted to Precious.
Yes. Wait.
Yeah.
Actually, I think. Well, it's certainly possible that someone was attracted to Gabourey Sidibe in more than one movie.
Yes, but that's all I remember from the promo.
Oh yeah, she was in that. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
She's good.
Yeah.
I like her. Trying to think of more. Meet Dave. You like Meet Dave?
Is that the one from Pluto?
It might be streaming on Pluto right now because nowhere else would take it.
Wow, that's crazy. You gonna get all the ad money. Oh, you gonna get all the ad money.
It's the one where a bunch of little tiny men live inside of him and control him.
With the woman who dated both Eric Andre and Cory Booker.
Rosario Dawson?
Yes.
I don't know why I know that. But yeah, I'm sure she's in.
Ooh, I'm telling you. No,
I don't remember who was inside Dave. I just remember Dave. Norbit, of course.
Norbit, yeah. Norbit is wild because you're supposed to hate it.
Yeah.
But then when you watch it, you're like, actually a pretty good job. A pretty decent movie. Pretty cute movie.
I think he was trying to catch, clumps in a bottle twice. And I just, I don't think we were ready for it. I think if he did it now, I think now is the time for Norbit 2.
I think that's what the world needs.
That'll bring us together.
Opening. We're done with Tyler Perry. We want someone else to take that mantle. Yeah.
What do you think? What if Norbit and Tyler Perry had a crossover?
I mean, I would not watch it, but kudos. Kudos.
That's my favorite answer to a hypothetical. I would not be interested in that.
No. But quick question.
Yeah,
Let me ask you some Eddie Murphy movies.
Okay.
Boomerang.
Which one is that? I'm probably getting that confused with Bowfinger because they have letters in common.
No, it was like a rom-com. It was like one of the first black rom-coms, and it has Halle Berry in there and David Allen Greer.
Dag?
And Martin. Dag? No.
Dag, David Allen Greer.
Oh yeah. Yes, Dag. Yes.
You ever see the I've definitely seen this poster, by the way, if I haven't seen this movie. Player who's about to be played, Eddie Murphy Boomerang. I believe I have seen this, thought it was Bowfinger, and decided not to watch it because I've already seen it.
Oh wow. Yeah, I mean, if there's a list of 5 Eddie Murphy movies to watch, it's up there. Number 5 though, but it's up there.
Well, let's wrap up Eddie Murphy talk with the definitive 5.
Okay, cool.
So
my personal 5.
Yeah, your 5.
Harlem Nights.
Okay.
One of my favorite movies of all time. Boomerang.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have to put Coming to America just because of the dominance.
Coming T.O. America, just to clarify.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Not T.W.O.
No, what?
That's how you spell 2.
There's a second one? I didn't know that.
Oh, right.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Wow.
What a clever way to...
That's real commitment
name,
to disowning that.
What a clever way to, name a sequel.
Yeah, great title. I hope they execute and follow through on that.
Yeah.
Same level of quality throughout.
Right. Number 4, Trading Places has to be up there.
Yeah, that's good. Well, except for what do you think about Dan Aykroyd and blackface? Does that hold up for you?
Oh, that's crazy. I didn't even know that.
I don't know if he's in blackface or if he's just portraying a Jamaican person. Dan Aykroyd.
Oh, wait, that did happen.
Blackface.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no. It is full. It is
Yeah.
Here, let me share my screen for you for a second.
That's probably for a good... Okay. Wow, I totally, Dang, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's...
Yeah.
So we can take that one out.
Yeah, without that,
No, take out the whole movie. It's gone now.
You don't want an edited version. You just want to... That's coming to America level disownment.
Right. But no, Trading Places is really up there. Especially like the small... They did like a multiverse low-key.
Yeah, because those guys are also in... Are they in Coming to America?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding. Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
And then the last one is going to be really tough because 40 Hours is really good. Mm-hmm. His performance in Dreamgirls is really good. You should have won more for that.
Yeah.
Shoot. I like Golden Child a little bit, even though it's not one of his not good movies. But I saw similarities between Golden Child and Doctor Strange 2. But number 5, I'll say Beverly Hills Cop 2.
2. All right.
Oh, we forget the Shrek movies too.
Those are their own thing. You don't have to.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Obviously, if you were to rank the Shrek movies, it would be a 4-way tie for first place with all the Shrek movies. They're all equally good. I'm surprised you didn't call out Dolomite. That is a really good performance from him.
Wow, you know what?
Maybe too recent to be top of mind.
Well, it was enjoyable. Mm-hmm. I don't think it'd be top 5.
Oh, okay.
But I enjoy, the blaxploitation, shout out, But the show that I love the most that did that is Black Dynamite.
Yeah. I remember watching that movie. I think it was on TBS. I think it was a rare crossover in the...
And the cartoon is hilarious, too.
Yeah, the cartoon. Yeah, I would have to say my top 5 Eddie Murphy movies are The Nutty Professor, just the scenes with the clumps, and Nutty Professor 2, The Clumps. And then the deleted scenes from Nutty Professor 2, The Clumps, and then the deleted scenes from Nutty Professor 1, just the clump scene. Actually, specifically, there's a cut, I don't know if you've seen this, but it's 45 minutes of just Hercules.
I have not.
Well, you wouldn't have maybe because I made it.
Oh,
I just looped the video.
Could you please send that after this?
I'll have to go into the vault. It's the same vault where they keep all the Tonight shows. I'm going to go in there. And incidentally, that's the same vault where Jay Leno keeps his Tonight Show money. He doesn't touch it.
Right. Because once you make it to a certain level, you use the endorsement money. You never have to touch the other money, like
you can
NBA
just
players.
have it. And not give it away to anyone, just not touch it.
I mean, why would you give it away?
No, you need it, just in case. In case they're auctioning off a fire truck, and you need to have it.
I mean, how many people have fire trucks? Besides
Jay Leno? No one.
See?
How many private citizens have fire trucks besides you? Did you think when you came on today, actually you probably did because we know each other, that you'd be talking about Jay Leno and Eddie Murphy instead of Ray Romano?
A little bit. But we can always go back. A, B, C, B, A.
Yeah. So let's actually do that. So I think we've covered what you watched growing up, which was 5 Eddie Murphy movies. Let's talk about this episode. We're going to do like a condensed version of our normal format here because our schedule is fucked. So let's talk about this episode. It's called Win, Lose, or Draw. It's Season 1, Episode 9 of Everybody Loves Raymond. want to ask you
my favorite one. Mm-hmm.
of one of 1.2 that you've seen.
Yeah.
So, Keith, what were your overall impressions of Win, Lose, or Draw?
Wow, I got so much to say about this episode, and I can't wait to get into it. But what can I say? Overall impression, rough start. Mm-hmm. Rough start. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I can't emphasize enough. Those opening scenes just. Ugh.
Would it surprise you to know that was from the stand-up set on David Letterman that got Ray this show? That bit was so impressive to, TV executives that they said, give this man a show.
That's crazy. So he's like the Michael Jordan of basketball, because now everybody can dunk from the free throw line.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay. That's a really charitable way to put that. I do think it might have been hack at the time. But yeah. No, yeah, you're right. He was a pioneer. Did the premise of this episode where your dad invites you to play poker with all of his old man friends, did that resonate with you at all? Is that an experience you've had at this point in your life? Because I haven't.
Me neither. My father does not play poker. Nor does he really hang out with that many dudes in his free time, unless it's his family.
How do you think you would handle yourself in such a situation? You think you'd be able to keep up with a group of old men?
If I must say, honestly speaking, and not to be stereotypical, the equivalent would probably be a game of spades. In which case, I would have to keep up, or I'll get kicked off from the table.
Right.
So,
at least,
it would get intense. And then I would have to hold my own. Mm-hmm.
And so my follow-up for that: have you? And it's unlikely, seeing as you've never played poker with a group of old men or spades. Have you ever lost thousands of dollars to a family member?
Let me think about that. No, thankfully, no.
Okay, good.
No, lost $1,000 other ways, but not to family members.
When you invested in Norbit, right?
Yes. Listen, I guess
you thought it was going to do big numbers at the box office.
Listen, I was like, this is the one.
Eddie, you're back, baby.
You thought you had to run in the 80s? No, sir.
No.
You should have seen the figurines. Action figures, yeah. We're just going to go all there. The video game.
Norbit the game. I need to ask you another question about this episode.
Okay.
So obviously the central conflict of this episode is Ray loses. He goes and he's made to play poker with Frank, his dad, and all of his old men friends, and Ray does so poorly that Frank takes $2,300 from him and then refuses to give it back. And then Ray's mom, Marie, comes over and tries to solve this problem by handing her daughter-in-law, Deborah, $2,300 in cash, and this is when she reveals that ever since her wedding day, she has been saving up a $46,000 escape fund. Now, you're not a married man, but if you were, how would you feel about a $46,000 escape fund that your spouse is hiding from you?
I like to consider myself a 21st century man, you know? But no, seriously, I would hope that me and my wife was saving together.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. That could buy a lot, that could put a kid through college, community.
Right. Community. Yeah. But if we, saved our money together, and on top of that, she had that.
Yeah.
I would be very surprised. Would I be
say
hurt?
The least.
No, probably not hurt. I'd probably be like, my birthday coming up, PS5 is out, you want to give me... not to put any ideas in your head, but
I'm not holding your escape fund against you. If you want to give me a PS5, that's fine.
yeah.
It does seem like, and maybe we don't have all the context here, it seems like if Marie was, maybe she had in her own savings account, she had a nice little sum saved up, but then she was also saving with Frank and, paying for things. You don't know this because you stopped watching episode 8 almost immediately, but the plot of that episode is they're very, we read it as the audience, they're jealous of Deborah's parents who are like, they travel all the time and they like go to Broadway shows and stuff. Maybe Marie should have been using some of that money to, enrich her life with new experiences. But
yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe she was in too deep,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of her, the psychological part of it. Maybe she was in too deep and she couldn't be like, hey, babe, let's go to Booming. And he's like, what? What you mean? We can't do that. And she's like, yes, we can. And then she got to be like, oh, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I've been like a spiral.
And then it's all over.
Then it's a totally different show then. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But anyway, the episode gets resolved pretty easily. Frank eventually lets Ray keep his money and everything's fine. So,
Well, it was really nice though the way they did it, because it was the whole like, well, I'm gonna tell my kids that they can trust their father. And he's like, dang, I've been crappy for the last 30 or so years.
That's
You're
what
right,
you find
son.
about the Barones is that these little, like, relatively low stakes plots for the most part. This is actually one of our higher stakes plots, is really hiding like just a completely dysfunctional family system where people have been just horrible to each other for their entire lives. But the audience loves it. So, who's right?
Who is right?
So highlights of this episode?
Yeah, definitely the scene with his wife when he came back, and she's like, "How much money you lose? Hundreds."
Oh yeah, that's a good bit.
Follows him into like the bathroom, and then when the mom comes over and dad comes over, and then she says something, and then he says something about like, "Oh, go ahead and tell him I cried during sex." I was like, "Wow, that was a funny line."
That was one of the intermittent, funny, truly funny lines in this show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. So your overall impressions were, it was rough, but it had a couple of spicy moments.
We have some really good moments, and then cute button end. Where the father has that resolution. He's like, you know what? I've been bugging. I should be a better father. Even though I didn't do it the last 40 years, I'll start now.
And this has not been, one of the things we've noticed about this show is there doesn't seem to be any continuity between one episode to another. So Frank is, I think we can expect, is going to immediately lose track of this lesson and completely forget this ever happened and go back to being a shithead.
Zero growth. Love to see it.
Yeah. Well, that's how you sustain a show for 9 seasons is you change nothing, wait for the people who were there at the beginning to die, and then their kids will keep watching in their memory.
Right.
Everybody loves Raymond.
Like, I imagine, like, if, like, somebody got killed off at the end of the season, what's next? Like, I don't know. Like, that's something that happens today, often. HBO, Showtime, you name it. But, yeah, I don't know. That'd be crazy.
It'd be interesting. There was one episode where, with my modern sensibility, there was a conflict between Ray and his brother Robert, and I would have written the scene where Robert takes out his gun and shoots Ray in the head, and then we progress from there, and that's a very different show.
Yeah.
Right? And that's maybe even a more interesting show.
A little bit. That's like, that'll be Game of Thrones before Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Game of Thrones? Game of Barones. It's right there.
Game of Barones. Okay. There we go. Perfect. Yeah.
Yes.
You gotta kill off the main character and like, hold up, what?
We're gonna have to cut this out so that I can file that away. I'm gonna make a video for College Humor And
Okay.
yeah. I wanted to ask you, not having ever seen these people before, which of the Barones do you most identify with? We've got Ray, sports writer, family man. We've got Deborah, his wife, who you wouldn't. There's no reason you would have known this. She used to be in PR before she married Ray, and her life became subsumed by the tornado of the Barones. We've got Robert, a highly strung, deeply unwell man who is, of course, a police officer, and we've seen that he's very free with when he draws his gun and points it at people. So that's a great guy. And we've got Frank, who is a Korean War veteran and has, in the previous episode at least, said racist things about the Vietnamese. We've got Marie.
Okay. All right.
Oh, thank God. We've got Marie, who is overbearing, but I think we've found that she's got some underlying attachment and avoidance issues that's really driving that. So I'm a little more sympathetic to Marie myself. Which of those wonderful people do you think of yourself as identifying most with?
Wow, and I can't pick one of the kids?
The kids are not fully formed human beings at this point to the writers. So,
Okay.
I mean, I wish you could, because they actually do, in later seasons, start to develop personalities, and that's probably the most growth and change that happens in this show. So, but unfortunately, at this juncture, I'm not going to be able to allow you to choose Michael, Jeffrey, or Allie.
Listen, as I was going to say, because, I'm not fully developed. We're ever growing and ever changing. And so, but you're right. Let me see. Definitely not the brother, because couldn't be me.
ACAB.
Right on.
For some reason, when I said that, it tripped Siri.
Wow, they're coming to get you.
Siri
Wow.
AB. And that did it again, of course. But yeah, so not Robert.
Not Robert. Also, in real life, did he say the N-word? I don't know. Did he?
You might
I
be
feel like
thinking
there's
of
some
Michael
controversy.
Richards,
Michael
Kramer
Richards?
from Seinfeld.
Okay, bet.
So not him.
I want to say the wife, maybe.
Yeah, we're Team Deborah for the most part, episode to episode. Like, she's a great, long-suffering person. Yeah.
I like her the most. Also, I've seen her in a newer show that has been canceled. It was on ABC, something Middle.
The Middle. Yeah, that was on for 9 seasons.
Yeah, I enjoyed her in that.
Speaking of, she did what Eddie Murphy was not able to do. She caught lightning in a bottle twice. 2 long-running sitcoms.
Ooh, I'm telling.
Oh no, are you going to tell one of his 18 children on me and they're going to
Oh,
come
yeah, they gonna
kick
get
my
you.
ass?
They gonna get you. Yeah.
Yeah. So not
So
Robert, maybe Deborah. Most
maybe
likely Deborah.
Honestly, it might have to be Ray. It
Interesting.
might be Ray.
Do you feel good about seeing yourself in Ray?
No, that is. See, after this day, after this moment, after this episode, I'm gonna have to really do some self-reflection. Cause, man.
Well, Keith, that's really all I need from you. And I'm so glad that you could join us for this stitched together Frankenstein of an episode that this is going to be.
No, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, of course. And you're
Appreciate
welcome back
it.
anytime. But any final thoughts you want to leave us with about the man, the myth, and the legend Ray Romano / Ray Barone?
Yeah, I have no idea if I want him to know this exists or not. I'm not sure yet. Would he appreciate it? Or would he try to sue everyone attached? I don't know.
He cannot sue us. This is all fair use.
Hey.
What I want, and I said this in our first episode, I don't want him to be on this podcast. I don't want him to send us an email or anything. I want him to find out that this exists and go like, huh. And that's it. That's all I want.
That's exactly what he's going to do.
Yeah. So it's an attainable dream. You have to set attainable goals so that you can actualize them.
not me getting life lessons in this moment. Wow.
Oh, that's a good question. Are you gonna, having seen this episode, gonna continue watching?
No. I appreciate this one episode I've seen fully.
It has
But when you do
fulfilled
that-
the need.
When you do the Everybody Hates Chris one, call me back and I got you. I might even co-host that one.
We'll do Everybody Hates Chris.
Yeah. Wow. Exactly. Perfect.
So Keith, thank you for being here. Is there anywhere you want to direct our listeners to enjoy you and all your endeavors?
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
But I do make music. You can type in my name. It's on all streaming platforms and YouTube. Also my acting reel, but you can ignore that. That's
Any
not for
agents
you.
out there?
Yeah, if you're an agent, if you're in the Big 6 or Big 5 now, holla at your boy.
If they were to reboot Everybody Loves Raymond, would you audition for a part? Actually, let's do this. Would you audition for background? Would you audition for under 5? Would you audition for guest star? Or would you audition for main cast? Which of those would you do? At what point would you go out for that?
If I had a choice, it'd probably be a guest star.
Okay.
But if I'm really struggling in my career, whatever they give me, like now, whatever they give me, I'm going to do it.
This is what happened here today. I
Yay.
offered you
Yeah.
the opportunity to be on this podcast, and because of where you are in your life and your career, you said yes. And to you, I say thank you. And
No, I would always make time for you,
thank you.
Adam.
That's so nice. Okay, so obviously, thank you to Keith for talking to me about all things Raymond. We are, unfortunately, now, we've been removed from the Stallone Zone. I think you can probably hear the...
They didn't take kindly to us.
They smashed our equipment.
They took our shoes.
They took our shoes. They took our. We all brought in our own boxing gloves because we thought they would be, help us blend in.
We thought they'd like that, but no.
But no, they actually found it extremely offensive.
Yep.
They thought we were making fun of them. And, whenever we record, we have like little votive candles with Raymond and Robert and Frank and Deborah and Marie on them.
And it's non-negotiable. We can't do it without them. So.
Yeah, we need to set the mood, but smashed. So they did not take kindly to us. So now we're out on the curb in front of the Stallone Zone. Obviously, big boys are going in. Big boys are coming out around us. But, this is public property. I think we should try to sneak back in just because I heard it's going to rain.
We
think
could
we should
probably
try to sneak back
camp
in.
out in the bathroom.
Yeah,
We can do
we'll
that.
go
I
into the
think,
bathroom.
How about as we go into the bathroom, we do some ad reads?
You want to do? I don't know if that's going to be the best for acoustics, but we can definitely try. We do have a couple of ads. I brought a couple of ads in my cassette pouch, so we could play those, or we could do extremely echoey ads with bathroom sound effects in them. Is that what you want?
No.
Is that what you want to be associated with?
I think the first thing is much better. than
Hi,
something
Michael
else to
Dormer,
do.
coming to you from a bathroom.
Listen, when I'm taking a shit, all I can think about is today's sponsor, Squarespace.
Oh, I wish we had Squarespace. So we'll sneak into the bathroom. We will obviously lock the door behind us because when the guys who come into the Stallone Zone, when they get into the bathroom, let's just say those guys have been pounding nothing but whole cows and whey protein for like days on end. So you don't want a guy bursting into the stall there. Am I right?
Yeah, no,
This bit.
a whole person comes out of them. It's crazy.
Anyway, so we're going to do that. You enjoy these ads, and we'll be right back.
Hey everybody, Mike from Everybody Loves Raymond here. We love Everybody Loves Raymond, but we know that Raymond can be a lazy, good-for-nothing husband sometimes. he can forget to do things. And you know what's one thing that could help him out? Todoist. Become focused, organized, and calm with Todoist, the world's #1 task manager and to-do list app. Todoist is delightfully simple and deceptively powerful. That's why 30 million people organize billions of tasks in Todoist for their work, education, and personal life. Get the confidence to make progress on the things that are important to you with Todoist. Support this show by visiting Todoist through postfund.info/ads. And when you get there, let them know Raymond sent you.
Okay, so we are here in the Stallone Zone bathroom. Luckily, no one's in here.
No, it's actually very nice. They actually have one big stall. Just one. It's like three stall lengths. So we just kind of set up in there. I think we should be good on that front.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that it's a large stall and there's a handrail in here makes me think maybe we shouldn't be setting up in this stall, but...
No, it's probably fine.
No, it's probably fine.
It's probably okay.
As you can probably tell, it's surprisingly unechoey for a bathroom. We quickly put up some of those sound-absorbent acoustic panels on here.
Yeah, I use them as the like the feet rests or like the butt rests in my car. So we had a couple ready to go.
That's good. That's like acupressure, pressure points from the what do you call that? Waffling?
Yeah, that's it.
So your ass must feel fantastic.
All the time, every day, all day.
I've driven in his car. He gives your ass an experience, I'll say that.
I'm so glad I have a sound clip of that.
Well, anyway, we've locked the door. We're here in the bathroom. And now it's time to quickly go through this episode so we can get out of here.
Yeah.
This is Season 1, Episode 9. It's called Win, Lose, or Draw. Let's just actually go through overall impressions of the episode. Mike, what did you think generally?
I thought this was an incredibly interesting episode because it touched on a lot of very cool... First of all, it's, typical Raymond. I thought it had its funny moments. It had its not so great moments, but I thought that in general it was, it was fine. The interesting thing is this is where we really hit on a couple of relationship dynamics. I think we see Frank being a father in real time, and I'm sure we'll talk in detail about this later, but we get a really, really nice interaction between Deborah and Marie.
Yeah.
That I thought was that first real time that there was a non-passive aggressive moment that happened between them, and I thought that was really good character work. So yeah, I thought it was an above average episode.
For sure. Alex, what do you think?
I have a lot of the same thoughts and feelings that Mike has just exclaimed. I would like to add that, yes, I enjoyed the character interactions. I think this might be like the first time, or like the first like consistent time that we've seen these characters as less of just characterizations and more as like actual people living their lives and trying to solve like a genuine like issue within the family that doesn't have like a clear-cut solution.
Yeah.
Like you can understand both ways of or both sides of this argument. And I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, I agree. I thought we'll get to it, but the end of this episode was a really like, it showed a lot of like emotional nuance and depth of character that maybe we haven't seen. The only one that probably comes close to this,
The writer.
Frank the writer, and then I Love You sort of touched on like the underlying issues of the Barones a little bit.
I still think this is a step above.
Yeah. I think that every like 2 or 3 episodes we get a genuine moment where we're like, oh, these could be people, and then the rest are, yeah.
So far, that's about an average. I'm so glad we're able to talk about the emotions of fictional characters inside this bathroom together.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Occupied. Occupied.
Sorry,
Yeah.
somebody's in here.
Somebody's
in here.
Don't come in.
Don't come in. Is there any more terrifying thing than when you're in a public bathroom stall, and somebody knocks on the door Does that
Yes.
like sink your heart?
No,
the way it
yes.
does to me?
Specifically when you realize that the person is hearing 3 separate voices declare that they are occupying it.
The worst of it is when they don't knock and they just go for
Oh
the
my
handle
God.
and they jiggle
just
it.
a jiggle, yeah.
That is the scariest.
And you just have to pray to the gods above that the bathroom lock, that tiny little
tiny
lock,
little piece
will
of metal.
hold.
Yeah. No, somebody's in here. Thank you.
Yeah.
Go elsewhere. Okay.
He's insistent.
Yeah.
We're dropping a Stallone in here.
Ayo.
Understand. All right. Goodbye. Okay, that guy.
Oh my god, so I think Sylvester needs to use the bathroom. Holy shit.
He can go use the owner's suite in the back. What did you just say that I wanted to comment on? But yeah, like I think we saw the like actual for the first time maybe, or in a more explicit way, like a character growing. Like I think Frank at the end of this episode. The question is obviously, is this going to carry over into future episodes? And unfortunately,
Almost certainly
I think
not.
Almost certainly not. But
Yeah.
it was nice to like see that change. But let's like go through it scene by scene here. So we got
Yeah.
our cold open.
Oh my god, yeah, I forgot about this.
We do they just for this season? Are they just literally taking the cold open from that 1 5-minute stand-up clip exclusively? Because this is insane.
Guys, I think in episode 1 we had like a whole conversation about like how they can use all these different bits, and then I think one of us was like, except for the Burger King one, I don't think they would find a way to
and
make
they
that
sure
in there.
as hell did.
I feel like the logic of this one doesn't hold up in the way that
No.
some of the other. What is he talking?
He comes in with the burgers, right?
Yes.
And he gives the iconic Raymond line of "Next time Dad cooks dinner, how about you pick it up?"
Great.
And yeah. And he
Classic
gives
Ray.
this whole thing about how the idiots at the fast food place, you know, he was in Montreal. In Montreal, they were bilingual. Here, they're not even lingual. He does the bit where he draws the hamburger with the feet on his hand. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, do we think, and this is going to be an interesting thing to keep track of, do we think Ray is a bit of a Karen?
Ooh, interesting question.
I think my impulse is he's not, because he suffers silently instead of causing a scene.
Yeah, here's the thing, Adam. He's not a Karen because if he was, he would have done the whole lingual bit in the restaurant.
Yeah.
True.
He waited until he got home and complained about it
So
to
a silent
his family.
Silent
Right.
Karen.
Silent Karen.
The real question, though, and I've been interested to hear your guys' opinions on this, what fast food chain do you think he went to? Because I looked at those bags and I had a thought.
Plain white. I don't know. What was your thought? It seemed like just an all-purpose.
My guess is
I'm gonna
Wendy's.
yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. Wendy's has the bag, but also like
The white bag, with it had like a little red circle on it,
Yeah,
which
which
made
they
me
did.
think Wendy's.
I didn't
Yeah,
notice that.
McDonald's has brown bags. I think Burger King has brown bags
Burger
as well.
King's got brown bag. Yeah, we've been to too many fast food restaurants that we can identify the restaurant by the bag. But
Yeah.
Wendy's, unless it's like it could be White Castle actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, but
I don't
There
think
is
it
a
would
White
be.
Castle in Lynbrook.
there is.
There's also a Wendy's in Lynbrook.
Do we need to? I don't think. I think there's a fictional world of Lynbrook and a real Lynbrook. I
But
don't
no,
know.
let's use real Lynbrook to calculate which fast food restaurant Ray probably went to. He lives on the north side of Lynbrook, right?
He says in an episode in the future that he lives on Fowler, which the White Castle is closer to Fowler than Wendy's is.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
He probably went
Alright.
to White Castle.
I don't think it's out of character for Ray to get his family White Castle.
That's true.
Yeah. So,
Twins need a belly bomber. Come on, let's make it happen.
Get a Crave case while you're at it.
you guys like White Castle, huh?
I've never had it once.
I've had it once and I hated it.
I don't know.
a friend
if
of mine.
Maybe I've had it once.
A friend of mine, when I was in the marching band in high school, bought a whole Crave case and ate all of them by himself at like 7 at night while we were watching a football game, and it was fascinating. Back to
Why
Ray.
not just buy one regular size?
I don't know. He was
Alright.
very resistant to like share as well. Like
Hmm.
he gave out like 3 burgers. There was like 30 of them.
that's an interesting man. And presumably rest in peace, or...
I wonder what he's doing now.
Yeah, in our college years, White Castle recalled all of the Crave cases that they gave out for causing instant death.
Instant E. coli.
Look out, Barones.
Yeah. So, yeah, they shamelessly repurposed the bilingual Burger King, and, fine. I just don't think, contextually it applies here as much.
That one doesn't fit.
Yeah, it doesn't work as much. As the
but then we go to classic playset opening. We're back, baby.
I want them to make a choice.
I
I want
know.
them to either stick with the conveyor
Mike.
belt or be the absolute worst thing.
They don't.
Yeah.
It flip-flops all the time.
Yeah.
And part of me thinks that maybe it was just something weird with air dates or something when they first came out or something like that. I don't know. Or maybe some later episodes were finished before some earlier episodes were finished. I don't know what's happening.
Or maybe some intern just flipped a coin every episode to determine which intro he would put in.
Yeah, even if the episodes themselves were locked out of sequence, it doesn't really track that unless they shot the conveyor belt mid-air, while the season was going, and then they just plugged them in. But then that doesn't explain why. I honestly have no idea why they do this.
They do this all the time.
They really do.
It goes back and forth all the time. It's honestly like a drinking game. Guess which Raymond intro you're gonna get.
Not a bad game. Yeah.
Not a bad game, and if it's the playset opening, you have to just house 15 White Castles.
Yeah.
And in fact, if it's any opening, you have to house 15 White Castles.
Any opening, you have a Crave case that is getting emptied one way or another.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So we come out of the playset opening, and it's Deborah and some combination of kids in the kitchen, and then Ray comes in, and Deborah's like, "You want some breakfast? You want pancakes?" And Ray's like, "Yeah." And then Deborah hands him the shopping list and is like, you also need to go to the hardware store and the dry cleaners and et cetera, et cetera. And of course Ray is like, "I'll just have cereal."
Wah wah.
Yeah. And gives the line. This is an interesting moment. She gives the line of or Ray gives the line of why can't you pick this stuff up while I'm at work? And she is holding all three children in front of her and is like, "I entertain men," that kind of. Mm-hmm. I thought that it was interesting. It was also an interesting cut. I thought that cinematically it was, because we don't really see that change happen that much. But I thought that was a funny line.
We
Yeah.
also see that Ray just clearly does not understand the effort it takes to raise children.
Mm-hmm. That's a whole job in and of itself.
Yeah. Look at us feminist icons.
Although, poor planning to not have any breakfast foods in the house until the morning of breakfast, but
They're just bad parents.
It could have
There you
been
go.
shop. It was clearly chore day, you know.
Yeah.
You're running low on everything. It's
Maybe
time to go
somebody
out and do
ate-
Come on,
stuff.
it happens. There's no it happens to everybody where you want pancakes and you open and 3 flies.
the Bisquick's gone. or
Exactly.
something like
that happens. Yeah.
yeah. It's also
get it.
possible that Ray binged hard on pancake powder one night, and
He was in the
He does a
fucking.
line.
now
he's
he's
in
does
There's a line of
line.
pancake mix.
he was in the Stallone Zone snorting Bisquick.
Yeah.
He got it mixed up with his way. But anyway, Frank comes in and he very grandiosely invites Ray to his poker game at Nemo's with all of his.
He doesn't invite him. He tells him to go.
Yeah.
No,
he doesn't give an option.
He tells him that he has been accepted
Yeah.
into the like it was a school he applied to. Which is just very funny to me. It's classic Barone manipulation where it's like, hey, you get to do this, and it's the subtle hints of oh, you don't really have a choice.
Yeah.
So just let me be the hero here.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well, I think Ray is hesitant at first, but eventually he is like, okay. And then our next
We
scene
also
is.
learn
Yep.
we learn that Ray's father's friends are dicks. He tells him all about how, or he says something about how they made fun of him for having a big head.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
yeah. So we come to see that pass, but it's well established that he's not super comfortable with these guys anyway.
Yeah, and that should be reason enough for Ray's no to allow him to skip the game. And the fact that Frank just kind of doesn't see that or care enough, maybe shows signs of him just looking out for himself over Ray, which is kind of a theme of this episode that he kind of goes back on at the end, which again we'll talk about.
Yeah. So then we go to Nemo's. We see Frank arriving. Frank is apparently the last one to arrive for the game, and he comes in. He says hi to Nemo. Nemo offers him some lasagna meatballs, and Frank is like, "You mean lasagna and meatballs?" And you know.
There was a gross concoction that was thrown out there.
His justification of I needed to clean out the freezer, so he had like whole lasagnas in the freezer, or because like
That
you don't
he
put
needed to
lasagna
meatball.
noodles in the freezer, you put them in a pantry.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, look, whatever it was, it looked like it came from Cronenberg's Italian restaurant.
Good pull.
That is a good roast. Roast?
You saved that one for the real.
Yeah.
So all the friends are there. So here's a fun fact about the friends. So you've got Len Lesser, Victor Rader Wexler, and Murray Rubin are Frank's friends. Len
are those
Lesser,
people?
Len Lesser is Garvin, who I think it's a very funny recurring joke in this episode about him being divorced. For some reason, that's always funny to me. Maybe because I'm a child of divorce. When people make fun of other people for being divorced. But you might recognize him. He played Uncle Leo on Seinfeld.
Oh, okay.
And then Victor Rader Wexler, you might recognize from playing Dr. Wexler on Seinfeld. And also, he was Carrie's boss on King of Queens. So, you know, apparently his character in this episode is twins with that guy because we know they're in the same universe.
Are these all pulled straight from Seinfeld?
Murray Rubin played a character named Rubin on Seinfeld. So, yeah, there seems to be this, like, cohort of older male character actors who were on all of these sitcoms in the mid to late 90s. And these are definitely 3 of them.
Do you think Peter Boyle is, like, friends with Larry David? Like, could we see Larry David in an episode?
Do I think Peter
I don't remember
Boyle
him
is
ever
friends-
showing up.
They're
He
not.
no, he doesn't. He doesn't. But I'm saying,
contemporaries.
could that happen?
They're
What do you
not,
mean they're not contemporaries?
They're not the same age. You have to remember that Larry was 30 years younger at the time, so he was only,
true.
30, 40.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
But, yeah, he was more contemporary, will be more contemporaneous with Ray. But I looked it up, and Peter Boyle is actually the only one of these men who was not on Seinfeld, although he did do guest spots on other sitcoms. I would think it would be interesting to see Seinfeld and Ray collide, and
I think Jerry Seinfeld would despise Ray Barone.
I think he would probably come up with some specific moniker for him, like
Yeah.
I don't know, Big Nose.
I don't know about that one. He would criticize the voice more than anything else.
Yeah.
Like the nasally.
Yeah.
Maybe, okay, so here's a pitch for a crossover episode. Elaine goes on a date with Ray, who was,
Wait, hold on.
cheating on Deborah.
Jesus Christ, already. All right.
Okay.
And then she comes into the apartment and she's like, yeah, it was great, but he's got frog voice. And then that's the whole episode is about frog voice. And
He's got frog voice. He's got frog voice.
frog
yeah.
voice!
Frog voice.
Hey! And then, like, George is
Kramer-
like, he's got something going on where he's, like, digging up a body or... George always gets into those kinds of situations.
George is, he's in that situation. Or
What if George accidentally, like, killed Leo? Like...
the continuation, just like Leo disappears because
George didn't, like,
murdered
wanna-
him.
Because George he like cut in front of George for the red pepper flakes at
Yeah.
Nemo's or something. I don't know.
Kramer becomes best friends with Frank for like an episode.
I think a slightly racist old man and Michael Richards might have something in common.
Probably.
Yeah, so that's the Seinfeld connection there. So they start, Ray shows up, and they all roast him for having a big head.
But when Ray walks in, I don't know which character it is, but he does the famous, "Hey, Ray's here!"
I think that's Garvin. I think Garvin does that.
That shows up every
recurring.
time Garvin's in the show, and it's one of my favorite lines.
I think he's a great character, just like Uncle Leo on Seinfeld. I think the Len Lesser renaissance of the mid to late 90s was well-deserved. He's a good actor.
Well, that period is known in history, of course.
As the
lesser Renaissance.
Renaissance. It's right
the
there.
Renaissance.
I'm looking at Len on my notes right now. Renaissance. Okay. So yeah, they start playing, and Ray is actually doing really great at first.
He's cleaning them out.
Yeah.
He's destroying them, and his ego is getting to him.
Yeah,
this
he
is
is
cathartic
getting
for him.
It is.
very like prideful too. Like he wants to show his dominance. And of course, this pisses Frank off because he thinks Ray is showing off. He thinks Ray is getting a big head. And Ray
Which maybe touched a nerve.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And Ray goes all in against Frank in a sort of climactic hand where all the other men have folded and it's just Frank and Ray, and it's a real, like, you know, there's subtext going on there.
Mm-hmm. And then we cut away.
We cut away. We don't know what happens with that hand until we get back home. He comes into the bedroom late, and Deborah asks him why he came back so late, and he sort of hints that he lost some money.
He was
and
like,
Deborah,
I won some money. He's like, good. And then I lost some.
Deborah's on to him from the beginning, because presumably because he does not immediately come in and ask for sex, which is against his character. But Ray comes in, seems to be very upset. After some poking and prodding, it is revealed that Ray, in that final hand against Frank, because he cleaned everybody out and then stupidly went all in the last hand, in that final hand against Frank, lost $2,300.
Okay,
which is a
couple questions.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
One, is the $2,300 what Ray initially put in, or what he had made over the course of the night?
My read, because it became such a big deal, is that he walked out with negative $2,300. Presumably he lost more, but he is $2,300 less rich than when he walked into Nemo's that night.
Adam, thoughts?
Assuming that they all walked in, so there are 5 guys, and it seems like Ray had cleaned everybody out, and you can kind of assume they all brought $500 to the table, right? So Ray, we can either read it as Ray, I think, because throughout the rest of the episode it's like they're exchanging $2,300. So I think Ray really was, over the course of the game, gained 1,800. No. Yes,
gained 1,800 and then
math.
lost it all.
And then lost it all, and his initial.
Then I'm gonna say this. Then the only thing anyone should have ever asked Frank for was the $500 back. The other $1,800 should belong to Frank. We'll get there, but now
That's true. That's not all Ray's money.
Yeah, because if he lost that money, he should not get the $2,300 of it. No way.
I agree that because he got $2,300 back, that he probably put in $2,300.
Yeah, that would be a different argument. But yeah.
Yeah. That would suggest that.
Oh shit!
I don't know.
Okay, I just typed in $2,300 into the inflation calculator. So today, $2,300 from 1996 today is $4,284.
Oh, shit.
That's a different.
That's even more.
That's a lot of money.
That is more than
that. $2,300 was already a ton of money. But yeah, Jesus.
Why did I feel like I needed to say
That's a lot more money. That is how math works.
I mean,
That's how inflation works.
that's just. I mean, look, today, if I lost $2,300, I would be really sad. But I wanted to understand kind of the impact that they were feeling, and it's like losing today $4,300.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was also going into that thinking like, yeah, that's a lot of money, but like, I guess here's the thing, right? As the episode progresses, Deborah starts begging Ray to go ask his father for the money back, and Ray obviously doesn't want to do that because he's like, no, I lost the money fair and square. It's now Dad's money. And then Marie is trying to force Frank to give him the money, and both of them are too prideful to do anything about it.
I thought this was interesting.
It was, because I'm here thinking like, sure, when I make bets with my friends, it's almost never actually money. It's pride things. We have the standard Waffle House bet. We have the standard Adam's giving me a look.
Don't go into it.
Are you
Mike.
sure? Are you sure?
All right, fine.
The Waffle House bet is that you have to spend 24 straight hours in a Waffle House, but every waffle that you eat takes an hour off of your time. So if you go in there and eat 23 waffles within an hour, you get to leave. But if you don't do that, then you have to spend the whole 24 hours. But yeah, that's how that goes.
That's sick.
Well, we had a bet going with our friend that if he lost the bet, if he wanted to eat pizza, he could only eat pizza from Chuck E. Cheese for a full year. So like stuff like that. It's not real money. It's just like this would be incredibly inconvenient.
Yeah.
He weaseled his way out of that one.
Yeah, he was.
If he ever comes on this show, we will introduce him as the Chuck E. Cheese pizza guy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he was a coward. But yeah, like it's ridiculous bets like that. Get on a bus to Cleveland, go to Cleveland, get off, get on the bus back, and go right back home. It's just waste a day. But like, here's the thing: if I lost one of those ridiculous bets, and my significant other tried to step in and like prevent that happening, well, that ruins the relationship with the boys. That ruins the thing. That ruins the thing. So I would be upset. But now we're talking about a significant amount of money that could actually affect the family. So I really do understand
Between family members, not even like friends.
Yeah, I would definitely understand why that would be a different kind of thing.
I think I think money, especially a shared amount of money, like that is that's a big deal. It's kind of selfish to throw that away when like Deborah says they're saving. They she says they're saving to potentially move away from this neighborhood. It's selfish, and it's it's irresponsible, and I think Deborah's totally in the right to like you're saying, if it was like eat Nemo's lasagna meatballs, that's a different thing. Like she doesn't need to the only negative that's coming from that is, of course, Ray is going to
Hospital bills.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, feel sick.
shit his life away. Somebody's in here. Somebody's in here.
Listen, we're shitting our life away. Leave
We're
us alone.
shitting. Okay, he left.
Sorry about the background ploops that come out every now
don't
and
make
again.
me do that. Don't make me.
What do you mean don't make you do that?
Don't.
They're happening. Come on.
We've already established that there's only one stall in here.
Oh, good save. Yeah. I forgot.
We've established that this is a single, all-gender restroom, and there will be no scatological sound effects in this episode.
Adam sucks.
Well, I don't want to
All right.
search. I don't want that on my search history.
That's very I mean, entirely fair. Entirely fair.
Where were we? Yeah, I think it's Deborah's in the right here to intervene. This is ridiculous, especially now that we know inflationally. Like, I'm sure there are people who watched this and who are listening to this that are like big gamblers, whales they call them, where $2,300 or even $4,200 doesn't sound like a lot to them, but I think to all of us and to everyone that we know, that is a lot of money.
Yeah,
and
that's like 2 weeks' rent.
yeah.
Yeah.
Where you live in an $8,000 house?
I think he means 2 months rent. I think that's what he's going
okay,
for.
yeah.
I was making a joke.
Oh.
How dare you?
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to imply. But yeah, like so yeah, I guess like in my head also I was thinking like that sounds like a lot of money to me. Is that a lot of money for Ray? Because there's also a moment when Marie comes in and is like, look at the way they're living. They are in want. That was a funny line.
Look around. The want.
But the thing that was in my head was like how much is this 2,300? How much does that actually mean for them? Like, how much is it gonna? How long is it gonna take them?
To do that, we need to figure out how much a sports writer makes in 1996.
Salary.
I don't think we need to do.
Mike, you asked the question.
A sports writer in New York, according to Salary.com, ranges from $33,000 to $43,000. So let's do reverse.
Holy
inflation.
Shit, that's not a lot of money for...
Well, 96, Mike, 96.
That's 96?
If in 2022 I purchased an item for, let's say, $40,000, then in 1996, that's only $20,000. That can't be right. That can't possibly be... You can't afford to buy a house. No, I'm doing the inflation calculator. That can't be right. How could he afford to... That's below the poverty line.
Yeah.
Sports writer annual salary. Maybe he gets paid...
Well, he works for, like, Newsday, right?
Yeah. Well, let's search...
It's a big paper. He probably
journalist salary, New York. That can range to 100,000. I think it's probably more likely that he's making, like, 60-ish.
Oh, I don't know how you did it, Adam, but I typed into the inflation calculator, and I got that should be $74,517.
Are you going in the right direction?
If in 1996 I purchased an item for $40,000, then in 2022 the same item would cost $74,500.
So if you make 40 grand in 96,
yeah, like in 2022 it's 40,000. So in 1996 it's less. But the purchasing power is still 40,000.
The question is that is the $40,000 you make as a sports writer is that 2022 money or 96 money?
That's 2022 money.
Oh, well then that's not a lot.
Then he bet away 6% of his annual salary in this one game. Like, Jesus Christ, Ray, what the hell are you doing?
I'm not a gambler, but I mean, $200 seems like a reasonable big sum of money to lose gambling. It's not going to completely derail your family financially, but it's still like stakes. So, my understanding of this is limited, but 2,300 seems like, especially for all of these old men on fixed incomes, like,
yeah.
I didn't realize this was such a high stakes game.
In this alternate world of Lynbrook, the VA does a very, very good job of taking care of the veterans, because we know these are these his war friends? Do we know that, or are they just his friends from?
I don't know. I don't think we know that at this point.
Okay,
we do not know that at this point,
because at different points in the series, he's makes friends with the Elks Lodge. He makes friends with the VFW.
Oh, the lodge.
Yeah, the lodge.
We'll get there.
Yeah, there is a lodge in Lynbrook too.
Yeah, there is. I've seen it.
Great.
I'm glad.
I have no follow-up question about that.
Okay.
Let's get back
Let's
on
move
track.
on.
Yeah, let's get back on.
The want.
This seems to be a significant amount of money. Yeah. And they live in want. They clearly live in want.
Look around. The want. But then, so Frank and Marie come over, and Marie is trying to get Frank to give it back, and then that's when Frank is like, I'm trying to teach Ray a lesson. And then
I find it interesting that the sides of this debacle are really, like, interesting. Like, it's Ray and Frank versus Marie and Deborah.
Yeah.
It's not Ray and Deborah versus Marie and Frank, or just Ray versus Frank. Ray and Frank are in agreement, which is very interesting.
It's really like reason versus toxic masculinity.
Yes.
Yeah, kinda, yeah.
But then Robert enters, and we learn in this episode that Robert is a moral absolutist, and if the law is the law, then the law must be right. He enters, he is aghast at the gambling, and furious with his family. He leaves grumbling something in Italian. If I had more dedication, I would have looked up what he said, but I did not. Let's assume it's something like, fuck you?
Yeah, exactly. My own family, something like that. Yeah. I will say that, like, I wonder what Robert's interpretation would be today, because sports gambling is now legal in the United States, like, or in New York anyway. Like, poker probably is off the table still, but if this was a fantasy football game that they lost $2,300 on, the law would say, all right, make sure you pay taxes on it, and that's all they would care about.
We're eventually going to have to watch Kevin Can Wait, right?
Are we?
Are we?
Are we really?
I think there is... I would not be surprised if there is a similar episode on that show, but it's Kevin losing money on DraftKings or FanDuel to somebody.
Yeah. Adam, Kevin Can Wait. We have to talk about Raymond.
Kevin will wait.
Kevin will wait.
Kevin must wait.
Kevin's got to go.
I'm just saying, it sounds like an unpleasant thing to watch. What sports book do you guys use? You use BetMGM?
I use word of
Caesars?
mouth. We put $20 in a pot, or we all sign a contract that says Waffle House on it, and that's it. That's all that I do.
You do Waffle House Sportsbook?
Yeah. Well, just because I also know, I know people that have succumbed to gambling addiction, and it's a serious thing, and those websites just fuel it. Like, you can just go in and put in $20 or $100 or however much you want to lose and be like, I made money off of the big game, yay! But it's kind of disgusting how much money is traded there by only the people that are suffering with addiction. I don't want to fall.
There's that phenomenon of, and I think I have a tendency to think this way, that money that you're spending over the internet doesn't seem real.
True. True.
Whereas cash seems real. So putting $20 in an envelope and betting on the game might seem more tactile to just putting in your credit card and sending money into the internet. So I think that probably fuels people who have that tendency to keep coming back, and it sort of hides the stakes of it a little bit.
Doesn't feel like you're losing anything.
Yeah. Anyway, this podcast is about gambling addiction, but anyway,
1-800-GAMBLER if you
what
or
is
someone
it?
you know.
That's probably responsible gambling hotline.
In New York, it is 1-800-GAMBLER. I do know that.
Oh, my results were for Virginia. The national helpline is 1-800-522-4700. That's the National Council on Problem Gambling. Maybe we'll put that at the front of the episode.
Maybe.
I don't know.
All right, well, welcome to the episode,
Should we be-
everyone. See you when we get back to this part later.
Should we be responsible or just ridiculous? Anyway, somebody's in here!
Listen!
Buddy is in here!
We pooping.
Go!
Go home!
We're chaining. All right. We should put a sign on the door. I'll just do that. I'll write something.
It sounds like there are more of them outside, right?
Well, a line must be forming.
A line's
if I
gotta
had to
be
guess.
And I don't think these guys, they're roided up. They've been housing way.
They've been downing Stallone steaks since we got here.
Yeah.
And Stallone shakes.
Stallone shakes. Right.
And Rambo.
That's a raw egg and nothing else.
Yeah, exactly.
Yum.
Exactly. They actually have an item on the menu that's just protein powder, and that's all.
One scoop of whey, $9.99. Yeah. Well, let's hurry up then, because it sounds like they're getting a little restless.
A little frustrated. I
yeah.
really don't want Sylvester to get involved.
So next day, right? Marie enters the kitchen with Deborah's there. I don't remember. I'm not doing a great job of keeping track of which kids are in which scenes. But Marie enters the kitchen, and Oh no, Allie is there because they're like decorating cupcakes, and Marie does some
yeah.
classic passive aggression on frosting from a can, which is funny. I think it's always funny when Marie just sprinkles the little bit of shade on Deborah.
Am I crazy, or did that like hyper blue frosting look really good?
Oh no, it looked awesome.
It
It
had
looks
that like cartoon food quality of
It
like
looked
did.
like
Yeah.
90s cupcakes, and it made me so hungry.
yeah.
Like
Definitely.
back when they didn't care about food looking natural.
Back when preservatives were an exciting new frontier. But Marie hands Deborah, so I think they usher Allie out of the room. Marie hands Deborah a fat stack of $2,300 and reveals that on her wedding day, her dad gave her $200 in case she ever decided to leave Frank. And she's been steadily adding to this. She now has a $46,000 escape fund.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just reminded myself of a great line that we skipped over when Ray and Deb were talking about the money in the beginning of the episode, where Raymond says like, "Oh, relax, we'll get it back." And Deborah says, "When?" And Ray goes, "When he dies,"
I mean, fair point.
which
yeah.
is true.
That is a good
Fair
line.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also, unless you guys wanted to say anything else about this one particular scene, I wanted to move forward a little bit.
I was just going to say it would be an interesting, I know unfortunately it's not going to happen, but an interesting spin-off or reboot of this show would be Marie finally divorces Frank, and then she goes off on a whole bunch of different adventures and is Marie all over the world, or Marie in all these different contexts, I think would be. I
That
think
would
you
be
could
fun.
put this, I mean, this sort of ties into our young Marie spin-off idea. Like maybe she had a whole life before Frank doing this. Yeah, I think it would be interesting. Unfortunately, spin-offs are never going to happen, and you
Nope.
need to get over it, Reddit.
Get over it. It's not happening.
Rate it.
It's not happening. The show is done. It's over. Could you please leave us alone? We're
in here.
We're occupying the space.
We are shitting.
So anyway, Ray comes into the kitchen, goes into the fridge, and just hears like one word from Marie and Deborah, and instantly knows what's up and tells Deborah, "Okay, give Mom back the money." Which I wanted to say, in a episode all about gambling, it's very ironic in a funny way that Marie and Deborah have horrible poker faces.
True.
Yeah. I think,
True.
and like we touched on before, this is like Ray just being like toxic man, like refusing help, childish pride. I wrote
Very
down
prideful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
come on, man. Like, just do what's best for your family and your relationship and take the money. If Frank is not capable of doing that, although he does end up being capable of doing that at the end, be a good person.
I will say it's also like Frank never. So here's the thing, right? It's like Frank never outright denies Ray because Ray just refuses to even ask. And Frank and Ray's position isn't about, or Frank's position isn't, this is more about like Marie and Deborah. This is between us.
This is
than
the
it
lesson.
than it is like fuck you, Ray. It's and then we get later on that it turns in a different direction. But I thought I think that's an interesting and important point to
Yeah,
make.
that's a good point.
It's not that he's denying his son; he's denying that it has to do with anybody else.
It
which-
really does seem like Alex just said, like, it's about teaching Ray the lesson, and then I think at the end he realizes that maybe he went too far and taught Ray the wrong lesson, and then corrects that. But I also wanted to point out, Ray does not wash his hands before tearing into that lettuce, and good God.
You're right. He
Holy
does not.
shit.
This-
I missed that, but you're right.
just more, poor food safety at the Barone household, or the Ray and Deborah Barone household. It just took me out of the scene, and I frankly found it disgusting. Anyway, we cut to the next scene. Ray and or Marie and Frank are in their kitchen, and Frank has his classic line, "You're not talking to me. I guess I'm still winning."
Just keep winning.
Yeah,
yeah.
something like
Keep
that.
winning.
Which is, whatever. But then Ray comes over to return that fat stack of $2,300.
What did he say? It was in Allie's piggy bank or something like that.
Something like
yeah, and that he had to wrestle it away from her.
Yeah, that was fun. I thought that was a funny bit. Yeah.
And then I don't know if immediately Robert or no, Frank is like, "Where did that money come from?" And Marie is like, "Never mind, don't worry about
that."
And then so Robert comes in and he is fully prepared, I think, to arrest his family. He goes into like interrogation mode, and this is when he calls out Frank and that divorced Garvin, which made me laugh. I thought this was a nice set piece for Robert to like really get to, for Brad Garrett to like really play kind of a funny role.
I wrote the notes in my phone. Brad Garrett is stealing the scene. I thought that he did a fantastic
There
job.
still is not. I feel like the show has still not utilized Robert properly. Mm-hmm. There has not been a Robert-centric episode thus far.
And he becomes a very centric.
He becomes
probably
the second leading character in the later seasons, and I think that's to the show's benefit.
Really, truly is.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
But for now, he's kind of just like a sparing background comedic relief kind of character. But when he's in, he kills it every time.
Has he been in every episode at this point, or have there been episodes that haven't had Robert in them, or at least not in a major way?
He's been in every episode. He hasn't been a pivotal role in every episode, but he's at least had a couple lines every single time.
He is, at this point, he's sort of a rough sketch of Robert and the Robert that we come to see later, and I think he is the most changeable and interesting character, like once they figure that out and they can use his eccentricities in a way that is really funny and really well done. But I think in this scene he does a good job of like his good cop bad cop thing, but there's only one of me, so it takes a little longer.
The audience loved that one.
They rioted. They rioted, yeah.
This audience is, I think it's safe to say, they love police. This is a pro-cop audience.
I would also agree with that. I think that's true.
But Frank claims that Robert is only doing this because he's jealous that he didn't get the invite to the poker game, which I thought was, like, probably true. That seems like a very astute observation. But then I don't know what happens next. I didn't write it down. But eventually Robert gives up this thing, and Ray starts to leave, and then he says something like he doesn't want to take the money back because he doesn't want to teach his kids that, in so many words, he basically says he doesn't want to teach his kids that your father will help you.
That when you got to be able. I believe the exact line was, "You can't go to your father and he just makes everything right." And
your father can't solve your problems for you. And leave it like this has happened multiple times. When Ray's kids get brought up, Marie and Frank get brought back to reality.
Yeah, it takes them outside of themselves.
That's true.
Which is really cool because I think that's like it hits me too, where it's like when you think about like the future generations and like kind of what we're teaching them through our actions, it kind of gives you more perspective. And I like that this show kind of shows that, and shows that it's how older, more stubborn people kind of change their ways when young people they care about could potentially learn the wrong thing from them.
I think you really see it hit Frank in that way too in this scene. Like there's, again, Peter Boyle being a great actor, you really see that switch flip in his face and in his expression, to where he is sort of like, what I'm trying to teach Ray here is not worth any kind of negative impact it's going to have on my grandkids who, are still, growing up, and I don't have the same like baggage that I have with Ray, and this is a chance to do things better and to, have a better longer term impact. And he is like essentially like actually, your father should help you, and he should fix things. And then he gives Ray the money back. So
I believe he rips the check.
Oh, I thought he put it in Ray's hand.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. He does give it back to Ray.
And then Ray puts it in his breast pocket. Yeah.
The ripping of the check is what I imagined he would do.
Yeah.
But, in fact, he did just give it back to Ray.
were subverted. I thought it was a really nice scene for Frank.
It was a great moment.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Again, sort of like Frank the Writer, where Frank has this underlying kind of softness, and, we really see that despite his gruff and racist and misogynistic exterior, he's only acting that way out of insecurity, essentially, which is, mostly true of all people who are racist and misogynistic, is they're acting that way out of fear and insecurity and, unsureness about themselves. So I thought it was really nice scene. I thought Frank, showed some growth. Let's see if it sticks.
It
won't.
But
It
it was
probably
nice
won't.
in the moment. It was nice in the moment.
Definitely. So then we go to our hot close. Ray and Deborah are in the bedroom, and they are playing strip poker.
I thought this was really funny. I thought this was
This
really well
goes
done.
back to your Waffle House thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is good stakes. This is, fine. This
like
is not
fun married
$2,300.
couple shenanigans.
And you see Deborah fully clothed and Ray exclusively with the tie on, which I thought was
How did he get his shirt off and leave the tie on?
I don't know. I don't care. I love it.
If he was wearing a button-down shirt, unbutton the buttons, tuck the collar underneath the tie, and then pull back.
Does Deborah, I mean, I guess this is how they play. Does Deborah get to decide what article of clothing Raymond removes?
I don't know. I think there are two different ways to play strip poker, and that's the strippy decides.
Yeah.
And
Never play strip poker, everyone. No matter how good you think you are, you will lose and gain nothing out of it.
I don't know. It seems like there's a Deborah's about to
We get pretty close to a
metaphor. Yeah,
Ride that stallion.
poker metaphor for fucking.
Deborah's about to metaphor his simile,
Royal flush,
Yeah.
because we're in a bathroom.
Yeah, there you go. Ayo. Sound effects.
Yep, full sound. I think Ray is about to go all in. Her.
That's it. Yeah.
I was curious though why the events of this episode made Deborah horny. It's not. I mean,
It didn't.
It's low stakes enough.
it didn't.
I mean, the events of this hot close did.
yeah, sure. Maybe
And
it was
I can
like.
see it started as not a horn thing, and then you see your significant other naked. That probably gets you going. I don't blame her.
Yeah, it's possible that it's been a couple days maybe since they got the money back, and everything's cooled off, and now they're just back to their normal horny selves, which is, that's the way a marriage should be.
Mm-hmm.
You should.
Truly.
What do you say, Mike? What is the?
Oh, it's good to want to screw your wife,
Okay.
and in this case, it's good to want to screw your husband as well.
Beautiful.
We should get a his and hers mug set made.
Oh, I love it. Okay, so they are really. I think the what the fuck are those called? God, why can't I never remember construction terms? The
What are you talking
hinges. So yeah, the hinges on the bathroom door are starting to like pop off. Screws are popping out of it, and they're really starting to bang down the door.
They're going nuts. They're going to town. I hear some
What-
rioting and fires. And
So
stuff
let's
like that.
quickly give Raymond his rating and get out of here.
Let's hit that barometer quick. So as a reminder, we every episode rate Ray on a scale of 1 to 10, comparing him to the great dads of sitcom history. At 10, you've got Uncle Phil. At 1, you've got Walter White. For me, Ray is probably coming in. Okay, so his pridefulness in not accepting the money and being like almost like childish about refusing the money to the point of hurting his family. And I don't think Ray really learns a lesson in this episode. I think Frank learns a lesson, and benevolently gives the money back to Ray. I think Ray probably dimly gets that, but it's not like he had a revelation or any kind of change or growth. I want to put Ray at about a 5 here. Because, I mean, in the end, it all sort of washes out. It's just more of his, behavior during it. And again, he's not, like, particularly cruel to anyone. He just is sort of being a dick and being a child. And, it's not exemplary behavior, so I'm going to give him a 5. Mike?
Yeah. I'm going to give him a 4.5 for similar reasoning. I think it's a nuanced kind of thing. I don't think it's actively bad because I do understand where the pride is coming from. Sure, it goes a little too far, but I do understand that he's thinking that, he signed a social contract. He has to deal with the consequences and he wants to teach that to the kids. So I think it comes from a good place. But it also seems like this is an amount of money that would seriously help them out / hurt them if they did not have it. So I can't give him a full 5. I think there is some harm that is done here. I just don't think it comes from a place of being such a shitty dad that it makes me go. I didn't have a what the fuck moment in this episode, which I typically do when I go lower than a 4. So yeah, I'm gonna go 4.5 for this.
Awesome. Alex?
Cool. So I think Ray's actions here do stem from toxic masculinity trying to, quote unquote, kind of deal with the consequences that he is, been dealt and not try to, go back on it, even though in this specific case he absolutely can because it's his father. If this same scenario happened with a random person at a poker place. I don't play poker, by the way, if that wasn't obvious.
Poker.
There wasn't much he could do. In this case, he can take full advantage of it, and he just doesn't because he's just kind of doesn't feel it makes him feel insecure. I believe. But I think what you guys said, I think Raymond does actually learn the lesson along with Frank. I think Frank does this action to help Raymond learned that he should be there for his kids no matter what. And I think Raymond does take that to heart. I feel comfortable if 7 is good dad, I'm comfortable leaving Ray at a 5.5.
Okay.
So that puts
well,
him at
hold
a
on.
nice-
I asked our guest before I got here what he would give Ray. So let me pop that tape in, and we'll hear from Keith and hear what he put Ray on the barometer. What would you put Ray on that scale?
Well, thank you for asking me this one, because with my extensive knowledge of all things Ray Romano.
Just based on this episode alone.
Yeah, I can comfortably say he ignores his kids.
Yes.
What? He barely feeds them.
True.
I guess he puts a roof over their head, but I guess barely. They pay your pops. You have a gambling problem.
True.
No, I'm playing. But it's probably a 5. It's probably a 5.
Okay, so Keith, as you just heard, gave Ray a 5, so let's factor that in. Yeah, right down the middle.
Clean 5.
Yeah, he a nice even 5 for Ray this episode.
Okay, so that averages out to a 5. Congratulations, Ray. You are middle of the road, and oh shit! Just broke through the bathroom door. Oh my god!
Sylvester's there. Sylvester!
Sylvester!
Come on, no!
He's picking up Mike and dunking him in the toilet.
I gotta grab save the microphone.
Save the mic. Wait, guys, do you hear that?
Is that?
Oh my god!
Oh my god! It's
that?
Billy!
He's coming to save us! Billy! He's running over all the Stallones. Billy!
Drive towards the light.
Oh god! It's Billy!
Oh god!
Billy!
The bodies!
Go! Get in! Come on, move!
I'm in.
Take us back to the Barone Zone.
I got it.
Oh my god! That's it for us. There's only one last thing to say. Our classic sign off.
Everybody loves Raymond.
And we love you.